Bhagavan Krishna Ekala Ishwar. Advitya Nandatmaja Rasika Shekar. Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, the Supreme Controller. No one is greater than or equal to Sri Krishna, yet he appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda. Purport by Śrīla Prabhupada. In this verse, Kaviraj Goswami gives an accurate description of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by stating that although no one is equal to or greater than him, and he is the reservoir of pleasure, he nonetheless appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda and Yasoda. So one question might arise quickly: how is this a concise description of Krishna? What is so concise about it? Do you know what it means, concise? Any thesaurus available here? Concise? Concise. Concise means very exact. It means that it is set in such a way that it recognizes Sri Krishna and no other. So the meaning is then that no other, even avatar, is the reservoir of all pleasure. It means that no other avatar reciprocates with his devotees, as does Sri Krishna. He is Rajashekar, he is enjoyer of rasa, the reservoir of rasa, the reservoir of pleasure. And he reciprocates with his devotees in a most amazing way. He becomes the son of his devotee. He becomes the friend of his devotee. He becomes the lover of his devotee. No other incarnation of God basically does this. To some extent, Lord Ramachandra. To some small extent. But in a full force, full-fledged capacity, Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. There are 4 characteristics which designate or discriminate Krishna as superior to Narayan. Anyone can say, my God is supreme. The Muslims say Allah. Allah is supreme. Somebody else says Yahweh, Jehovah. Everyone's shouting their God is supreme. In Africa, they go Mungo. Mungo, pointing in the sky. He is supreme. Mungo. Who he is, they don't know. Only Mungo. And so, how then the supremacy will be established? Who is the great God? Who is actually the Lord of David Jagatpate? Who is the Lord of all the lords? We have so many lords and masters, beginning in our own household, in our own community. So many lords and masters we have, teachers and seniors, idols in society. Even our politicians sometimes are our lord and masters, depending on where we are in the world. And so many lords and masters. And the providers of the natural phenomena, the rains and the sun, the devas, they are lords, they are masters. And it is going on and on. It is understood above. If one master is praying yet to another master, well, then that master must be the superior, Param master. In this way, it comes to the higher plane of devas, which include Brahma, Shiva, and their qualities are taken from descriptions in revealed scriptures. Then the qualities of Narayan. So these 3 first come into contest: Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. And there is a detailed list of their qualities. And last, there is Krishna. Krishna has 64 qualities that have been derived from the study of the scriptures. Narayan has 60, only 60 qualities. I believe Lord Shiva has 58 of those 64. In other words, Krishna 64. Of those 64, Narayan has 60. Of those, Lord Shiva something like 58. And of those, Lord Brahma has about 54. I think it's 54. And the living entities, that's you and I, we also have a potential 54. And of these 54 qualities, we may manifest them partially. They're listed in the Nectar of Devotion, and they are also listed here in Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So you don't have to search all over the Vedas to find out the qualities of the living entities. The searching has already been done, and they've been listed. So I don't remember all those qualities. There are many there. So we may have these qualities. We may manifest these qualities in part. 54. Lord Brahma, he may manifest them fully. Lord Brahma, he may manifest these 54 qualities fully. But Lord Shiva has qualities superior to him. I think, again, 58 in number. Then, of course, he can exhibit these 58 qualities fully. But Narayan has 2 qualities superior to Vishnu. And then Krishna has 4 qualities superior to even Vishnu. Did I say that right? From 54, 58, 60, 64? You follow? Right. So, the 4 qualities that Krishna has that makes him superior. One is that Krishna has a most attractive bodily features that even Lord Narayan is attracted to see. Narayan has a spiritual body, yet he wants to see the beautiful form of Krishna. He has a superior form of beauty. We have one book called Form of Beauty. So much beauty in the features of Krishna that even the Lord of the universe, Narayan, he wished to have darshan of that beautiful feature of Krishna. Then he has beautiful bodily features. He performs pastimes of love. He performs pastimes of love, which are unparalleled. Love is a subject. Love is a topic. Just like emotion. Emotions is a topic. You can study emotion. It's called psychology. There are so many emotions. Frustration, anger, anxiety, so many emotions. Love is an emotion. It is the greatest emotion, and it is a science. What are those feelings of love? How they manifest? What the gradations of those feelings and their counterparts and subparts. The science of love. So Krishna performs pastimes of love with his devotees, which no other avatar performs. Intimate pastimes of love. For example, in Sakya-rasa, friendship. Krishna is sometimes riding on the shoulder of a friend. Sometimes a friend is riding on his shoulder. Do you follow? If you don't read all these things on a regular basis, this is the in one ear and out the other. This is one of the reasons why we lag and suffer. Look at the thousands of pages. You have to read and be acquainted. This is all, there's a taste in what I'm saying, but I'm looking at the faces. This is mainly in one ear and out the other because no one's acquainted with the field. Oh, is it 54, 54, what is it? It's just in everybody's faces. So it's all like ABC, every day ABC, ABC, ABC. The rocket never launches off the pad unless we are like familiar with the subject. So these pastimes which Krishna performs in all the rasas, he doesn't have a mother as Narayan. There is no Vatsalya rasa as Narayan. He has no mother. Narayan has no mother. But Krishna has a mother. And this mother chases him with a stick and ties him with a rope and punishes him on certain occasions. This mother very much loves him, feeds him, even breastfeeds him. Such a reciprocation with a mother is there with Krishna. Vatsalya rasa it is called. Love in Vatsalya. Paternal affection is there. And Krishna reciprocates these wonderful pastimes of love. Krishna also has amorous pastimes, love affairs with the gopis. He has affairs. Krishna has affairs. They're his own affairs. We don't meddle much in Krishna's affairs. but Krishna has affairs. He has conjugal love also. So he has love for his servants, and he has love for the cows and the forest in Govardhan. That is called Shantaras, neutrality. So only do we find that Krishna exhibits wonderful pastimes of love. Then Krishna himself is surrounded by devotees, which are themselves the reservoir of wonderful love. The love of Krishna's devotees, which surround him, surpasses the love of even the residents of Vaikuṇṭha. Even it is superior to Lakṣmī Devi, the goddess of fortune in Vaikuṇṭha. The ordinary devotee of Goloka has a type of love superior to Lakṣmī in Vaikuṇṭha. And the main example, well, there are many actually. The main example is there. There are two. On one side is the story of Krishna's headache, how Krishna had a headache. And in Dwarka, then I think it was it Narada or Uddhava?
Narada.
Huh?
Narada.
He asked, Krishna said, the only thing that will appease my headache is the foot dust of my devotees. Dust, dirt from my devotees' feet. That's the only thing that will ease my headache. So Narada went forward to the devotees in Dwarka, and he asked them, Krishna wants the foot dust. They are also devotees. They need the foot dust. Krishna wants the foot dust. No, it is not possible for our foot dirt to go onto the head of Krishna. Well, they're all Vaikuṇṭha devotees. They're all Vaikuṇṭha devotees, and all the queens of Dwarka, they're all Lakshmis. So there it is shown that the Lakshmis have a limit of their sacrifice. They won't cross a certain line. How it is possible? It is not possible. He is our Lord. He is our Master. He is our husband. It is not possible that our foot dust will go on his head. Ultimately, Krishna went to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, not Krishna, but Narada Muni went to Vrindavan, and he was amazed to see, without the slightest hesitation, the gopis practically were fighting with one another whose foot dust would be given. And Narada said, but don't you know, for such an act, one will burn in eternal hell. Basically, he told him one will go to the Naralokas and cast into the deepest darkness for such an offense. And they were willing. If our suffering is the price of relieving Krishna from any difficulty, we're happy to take that suffering for eons of lifetimes. They had that much self-sacrifice prepared for that. So these two things, and also one other contrasting story is that that when Krishna performed his pastimes in Vrindavan, then Lakṣmī of Vaikuṇṭha, she left Narayan and she came to someplace. She came and she performed austerities. And she performed austerities so that she could enter the Rasa-līlā dance. But she did not get the opportunity, actually. So first off is that Lakṣmī had to perform austerities. It was not simply within her command, oh, I will do this. It was not possible. That potency, oh, I simply will do. It is not there. In the Leela of Narayan, then wherever Lord Narayan goes, just you can say very simply, Lakṣmī may go, like as Sita. Simply go. She doesn't have to labor for that or strive for that in any way. But to enter Vrindavan, she had no I will go. So she performed austerities. Austerities is something that yogis and renunciates and people do within Varnashram system. It is not something that the eternal Lakṣmī or Narayan has to perform to do something. But we find she could not just enter, so she performed austerities. Still after performing the austerities, meditations and the things that she performed, she did not get such a position. And it is mentioned, she didn't get that position because she didn't follow in the footsteps of the gopis. She did not take and revere the gopis. Therefore, she had no entrance into that plane. So the devotees of Vrindavan, they are actually categorically superior to even Lakṣmī of Vaikuṇṭha. So no other, and they are superior due to their degree of love and affection, which is packaged in selflessness and self-sacrifice, and it is also wrapped with the ribbon of spontaneity. They're very spontaneous. They don't have to be told what to do to serve Krishna. They know. And one of the reasons they know brings us to the fourth quality that Krishna has. Krishna plays a flute which attracts the minds of all living beings. Narayan, he can attract so many living entities by his pastimes and just by his not magnanimity, but majesty, by his opulence, Aishvarya. He can attract so many. But Krishna has a flute, and when he plays this flute, the sound of this flute attracts the minds of all living entities, all living entities, throughout Vaikuṇṭha, throughout Goloka, even in this material world. Wherever the sound of Krishna's flute enters, it is magnetic, it attracts. And Narayan, he has no such all-attractive potency. So Krishna plays upon a flute which attracts the minds of all his devotees. According to the level of the devotee, this flute is the inspiration to serve Krishna. The flute is as in a symphony orchestra. There's a guy who goes like this. What's he called? The conductor or the orchestrator or something like that. He has a fancy name, I think. So the sound of Krishna's flute is such an orchestrator. The sound of his flute inspires devotees in different rasas. It inspires them to perform their service. So these are the four things. So when you want to know who is great in love, you don't measure muscle power. You don't measure money power. You don't measure land space. You have to measure the things which are valued in love, in rasa. And when the level of comparison in rasa is given, then Krishna is understood to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is by rasa. Now, it comes out as a secondary thing also. Actually, his Goloka is bigger than all of Vaikuṇṭha. And particle of dust in Vaikuṇṭha is bigger than this world. Oh, Krishna is the biggest land holder also. That is also there. But that is not the measure. He lifted Govardhan Hill with one finger. That is true. We always say, let the bogus Bhagavans lift Govardhan Hill. You see, so many Bhagavans in India, they claim to be God, but they cannot do this feat with lifting Govardhan Hill. So strength is also a measure. It's one of the opulences, you see. But Narayan also, he can lift Govardhan Hill. He can also lift Govardhan Hill. So that lifting Govardhan Hill, that may expose bogus Bhagavans, but that does not tell that Krishna is superior to Narayan. Not lifting Govardhan Hill. Narayan can lift. Ananta is lifting universes, you see. And Ananta is just an expansion there. So Narayan, he can also lift great mountains, great universe, great planets, all these things. But when analyzing according to rasa, the mellows of love, and the reciprocation of that, then we find out it's actually Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, the concise, and by mentioning this thing, he has become the son of Nanda Maharaj, means he reciprocates in pastimes of love with his devotees. This is a very concise description of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. Do you follow that way? Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the supreme enjoyer in the rasa dance. He is the leader of the damsels of Braja, and all others are simply his associates. Purport. The word Adi-līlā, the enjoyer of the rasa dance, is very important. The rasa dance can be enjoyed only by Sri Krishna because he is the supreme leader and chief of the damsels of Vrindavan. All other devotees are associates. Although no one can compare with Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are many unscrupulous rascals who imitate the rasa dance of Śrī Krishna. They are Mayavadis, and people should be aware of them. The rasa dance can be performed only by Śrī Krishna and no one else. So, there are these dance dramas that do Rasa-līlā dance. There's even one in the Kumbh Mela film. It's even being put on in a Vaishnava tent. It's even being sponsored by a Vaishnava guru. But actually, pure Vaishnavas don't have any interest in those things whatsoever. Those things are automatically, most of the people, say there were 500 people there, not one of those people was qualified to appreciate rasa and rasa-līlā. And most of them were doing what you're not supposed to do. Enjoy the rasa dance. People enjoy it. Wasn't that a good drama? Wasn't that beautiful? They just enjoy it. They have no qualification to be in the rasa dance. Prabhupada said, if you have seen the rasa-līlā of Krishna, then you're qualified to see these performances. Otherwise, they're not. This is not enjoyment. And what do the common people do? They just enjoy. Whatever you put in their ear, whatever you put in their eye, whatever you put in their mouth, they enjoy. People, when they come to the Sunday feast, they do what? They enjoy prasadam. They start by enjoying. And they come and they go, can I get the recipe for that? I'd really like to cook that at home, right? So they go home and they try it, and mostly they flub it up. They can't do it, right? And then they come back and we tell them, yeah, because actually, this is cooked for devotion. They're cooking at home, and then they're going, doing the finger and the tongue routine. They're trying to enjoy it, you see. You don't get out of enjoyment like this. No way. So then how Rasa-līlā for the public? Spoiled. Actually, it is not a proper thing. It is not understood. People think when Srila Prabhupada says one should enjoy Rasa-līlā, most people then think he means, well, boys and girls shouldn't dance, pretend they're in Rasa-līlā and just have their little moonlight dances. That's one level. There are such imitators. They also do like that. The other level is we should not even watch Rasa-līlā and then enjoy it. Oh, such a nice performance. Wasn't it so sweet? Wasn't it so nice? Then we are trying to enjoy. We're not qualified for Rasa-līlā. We want to enjoy the Rasa-līlā. So all these things are started and done by other people. Kings. We're not interested in kings. Kings, businessmen. Many of the fashions of devotees are simply started by shopkeepers who are good at making money. That's all. They start devotee fashions. Jagannath t-shirts and such, and they just get them going. It's not started by the pure devotees. The acharyas didn't start these things as ways to enlighten us. They are started by the shopkeepers. And the devotees who are trying to go on the path of pure devotion, they just go down to this way of enjoying. It's like when you put on that it's totally beautiful, these embroidered Jagannaths on this. What are you actually doing? When you just go through this, swing the pendulum back and forth, when it stops, you'll find out you're doing this to enjoy. You're enjoying the form of Jagannath like a piece of jewelry ornating yourself. And then, of course, everybody was preaching if somebody sees it and this and that, they always throw in that little twist. And that's the excuse. The real thing is simply being done ornamentation. We are decorating ourselves with Jagannath. We should not decorate ourselves. If it is Mahaprasadam, the Lord's clothing, even the Lord's jewelry, anything of the deity can be worn as a prasadam. That is actually a part of devotion. We shouldn't decorate ourselves with Him.
What's the level of the denizens of heaven when they're riding the flower airplanes and watching the rasa dance? That's described in the Krishna book, how they're all gathered in the atmosphere.
They're posted at a great distance. They have some capacity, and mainly, I don't know the full purport of that, but mainly that is so that people will recognize. Oh, it's just like inside this room is a meeting. Outside in awe and reverence is the governor of the state, the vice president, the ambassadors. They're all out there in like awe and reverence. And so the pea-brains around the neighborhood, well, there's something important going on here. So they're there so that because the bulk of people in the Vedic culture, they're so superstitious, means they want good luck, they want good fortune, and that's where the demigods are all centered around this in wonder in their airplanes. Whoa. But they're not actually seeing minutely what is going on. It's just some wonder to them also. There is an Aishvarya, wonder, an opulence about, we say Krishna lives in the forest, but that forest smokes any forest you could ever imagine. There are gems in the sand of that forest. It's superior to Vaikuṇṭha. You ever read the description of Krishna's bed? Wow. Yes, kings have tried to match the opulence. They didn't come close. Great opulence in the palace of Nanda Maharaj. But that is not the attraction for the devotees, you see, but it is there also. So they're more in tune with that aspect of Krishna Lila, some opulent aspect. They're held in awe of it. They have not entered into the moods of the rasa. Although, we shouldn't say that demigods, how do you know when they went home they weren't also reading the Bhagavatam and cultivating devotion in the higher planets? So, but in general, just as demigod, they are attracted by the awe and wonder of the Supreme Lord, and not by the more intimate things. Lord Brahma could not recognize Krishna's activities, his pastimes. Neither could Indra. So then what to speak of Ganesh or somebody like that? How lost in the thing they would be. But when one or two leaders come, oh, Lord Shiva, he has come to guard the rasa dance. Oh, then the other day he's Mahadev. So something like that they are given, the celestials are given. They're like state administrators. So the Supreme Lord's performed his pastimes in their universe. They get some level of participation, but they are not in the rasa dance. So one might say, well, if you become a demigod and you get the invitation, then you can go. But if there's just a rasa drama being performed in Vrindavan, it's not important for you to go there. And if you do go there, I've been socially bound into these things before in Vrindavan because of friends, and it's just like here you might have to stop over and see the Kramers or wave at a neighbor. That's the social protocol. We waved at this guy coming in yesterday on the road, on the end of Krishna Kirtan, this farmer at the end of the hill. We waved. That's the protocol. Well, when you're in Vrindavan, there's another protocol. If you're there more than the visit, you stay there, live there, you got a house, all of a sudden somebody's knocking on your door. Oh, Guruji, there's one performance, one special invitation to you. So you can only say no so many times, then it's like he doesn't wave back. You know what I mean? If your neighbor waves and you just pass him a dead stare, then pretty soon it's like strange. So because of that social thing, a couple times I was drawn to those programs. Very high class program. Beautifully performed. Amazingly. Just reach in and just pull out your heart's sentiment like anything. But I wasn't being the judge of everybody there, but a lot of it was just pulling out the material sentimentality. So many people started crying, and the dramas just really reach right in there and get you. What to speak of a TV or movie drama, sometimes just gets you to a point you're just watching it, it's like gulp, lump in your throat. Drama has such power. But then we don't find that the same thing comes just by chanting the holy name. You see? So there's a defect in that. The holy name is actually superior to those dramas. We hear the holy name and it doesn't evoke such a feeling. And we'll see this drama. So it is a little unsure which level of feelings it's extracting. And then the sahajiyas, they're there like anything. They just pile in there. This is like halava and strawberry halava. They love it, with ice cream. But you won't see any of Goloka there. You never saw Prabhupada there, Śrīla Maharaja there, Śrīla Purima. Never, ever. And then we take the example of our acharyas. And who is there? All kinds of people. They're cultured people. They maybe even, I've been to such things, even kings were there. They're not the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. They are devotees. And they are mixed in their lives. So much mixed thing is there in their life. So many mixtures are there in their life. So, again, then where these things come, yes, in certain areas, in certain time, there have been Mahaprabhu also used to perform dramas. And if you read in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Śrīla Prabhupada says, the dramas must be performed by pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. Now, because they couldn't find enough such people after the time of Mahaprabhu and all, to perform such dramas with all pure devotees, they engaged children. Because children have a certain innocence, which is just basically naive. You know, the monkey's inside their pocket. He just hasn't come out yet. And they're little, you know, you see a thing, you know, somebody just kills, you know, just like Narasingha, the king's son, just took out the whole family in Nepal. Now go into the family album and just look at the picture. He was such a cute little boy. There he is, crawling for the first time, walking for the first time, talking for the first time. You know, they're such a cutie, such a cutie. And then the monkey came out of his pocket and killed his whole family. So there's a certain innocence about children, but it's just things aren't manifest. So they would use children and their childhood innocence. But childhood innocence, it's nothing. It's no comparison to purity. It's just childhood innocence. It has no simulation whatsoever. Every mass murderer, every insane person you can think of was a charming child at one time in their stage of innocence. Innocence simply means what they are in the future. It is not manifested. And if they have any good qualities, it usually comes first. That grace is given. Then bad things usually come a little later. But it is no replacement for purity. But that's what happened. So then traditionally after, like in there's one Manipuri style of Orisan style, but in most of the styles they only use boys to act, even acting the parts of the gopis or Mother Yasoda and all. It's only boys, and after 9 or 10 years old, close, because even then a 10, 12-year-old boy is gone. Even then it's gone. They need that just pristine, absolute innocence to even resemble something. So it's only a short span. And this Orisan style, only girls used to dance. It was probably something from the Devi Dasi. But also at a certain age, very, very young, 10 or 11, that's all. They could not perform that anymore. And since I mentioned Devi Dasis in the temples, there were Devi Dasis. It is not for the public. The public people didn't see the dancing of the Devi Dasis. The temple dancer girls, they only danced for Lord Jagannath. They didn't dance for ordinary people. Ordinary people weren't allowed to see these things. This is not we're not distributing samosas here. This is a pleasure dance for the Supreme Lord. So they were dancing. And then who? High priest and kings, they could attend also. But their attention to that was just like the attention given to an artik ceremony. Not that they were going, oh, a beautiful girl, how she's dancing. No, Jagannath probably likes it too. So shapely. They're not thinking like that. Just how you see an artik being performed. You see it in direct relation to the Lord. It's being offered to Him. You don't see, oh, that's such a nice lamp. I'm enjoying that lamp. So you won't be intended to enjoy the lamp. But you will be intended to enjoy the dancing girls. And girls will think, oh, I wish I was that dancer. I wish I was so beautiful. So therefore, people with a mortal mentality were not allowed to even watch these things. Then in time, all these things broke down. Pan also. Pan chewing in India was for the deity, and it was for kings, and only, again, that higher level of society. It was not that there was pawn shops everywhere, and every rickshaw wallet could stuff his mouth full of pawn. And people didn't chew that stuff every day. It was in the common world for marriages, for celebrations. It marked like festivities, you see, pawn. Now it's come down, there's just pawn spit all over the north of India. In every corner, in every state. You ever go in a building, an office building in North India, walk up 3 flights of stairs? At every turn in the step, at every corner, there's this red spit everywhere. Yeah. It's just horrible. It's like tobacco in Oklahoma in 1890 or something. It's just spit everywhere, And it causes cancer. Your teeth just loosen up and fall out like just boom, they just fall right out. causes cancer. It's terrible. The pond was once only in the temple and royal court and for special things, special occasions. Then it just went down, become a filthy habit. You know? So many things just poured out into the mass of people and became pleasure. And then someplace, culture. It's called culture. Some culture. But culture does not mean that it is pure. It's like Ayurvedic. Ayurvedic. Do you want some Ayurvedic medicine to make you strong? It also has lamb fat in it, mutton fat. There's some nice medicine. It's got peacock blood in it. Martial artists use this oil made from peacock meat. Makes you very, very limber. No, we'll take coconut oil if you don't mind. Sesame seed oil. No, but it's Ayurvedic. We reject that just because it's Vedic, Ayurvedic. Is it that pure devotional aspect of Veda? No. Then we're not jaded and just because it says Vedic. Actually, that's one of the peculiar things with Vedic. We're not Vedic at all. We're not Vedic. Our movement, it uses this word Vedic. We're not Vedic at all. In the Vedic culture, women can't worship the deities. In the Vedic culture, you have to be born a Brahmin to receive the Gayatri Mantra. All kind of things we don't follow the Vedic. We are pancharatric. We do not follow the Vedic system of worship. The artik we do is not Vedic. It's pancharatric. It's a different system, two different systems, completely. We follow Pancha Sanskara, and that's pancharatric. That's not Vedic. The Puranas, the real strict Vedic, they say the Puranas are not Vedic. They're not written in the same language. The Upanishads are Vedic, but not the Puranas. But from one level of observation, we say Vedic, but actually, we're not Vedic. So it's just become like a common usage. You're not Vedic. You find the Vedic followers, you know you're not Vedic. You're pancharatric. Any other questions? Who? Yeah.
Are there any other leelas besides the rasa leela that shouldn't be performed?
Well, there's an interesting thing. One day in Bhubaneswar or Jagannath Puri, when Śrīla Prabhupada was there, these gentlemen came. They were professionals, and they were going to make a film. They were going to make a movie about rasa leela. And they came to Śrīla Prabhupada for his blessings. And they explained what they wanted to do. And they must have talked for about an hour. They tried not less than 25 times to readjust their statements and get his blessing. And you never heard or saw Prabhupada say no so many times in an hour. No. And he said, no, I cannot give my blessing. No. It's in the folio. It's just amazing. And sometimes he's going, no. He didn't get it. And then at a point, they were in the beginning, and they said, this is going to be this is going to be a classical performance where the rule of divinity is so guarded by tradition. No, they will misunderstand. The people will misunderstand. So after a while, these men said, well, then maybe we can do a drama just about Krishna as a baby with Mother Yasoda, And no, he said no. It's just amazing. They were just going down and down. I think in the end he said, "You want to show something? Show Bhagavad Gita, Kurukshetra, something like that." He said because whatever he said, they will misunderstand Madhurya, they will misunderstand Vatsalya, they will misunderstand even friendship. How many boys have been friends or girls have been friends growing up and then turned to enemy to each other? What is that friendship? That is also an expression of lust. That is also an expression. My friend is my friend because he does good to me. He does good to me. You see. But Sakya friendship, is not based on any kind of mortal exchange. They are also fully self-sacrificing. There's no selfishness in every rasa in this world. There is selfishness. The purest love of this world is a mother's love for her children. They're the most selfless, the most tolerant. When you're a friend, starts dumping down on you, you'll cut the rope. You let him go. A parent just endures, 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 and endures. But then in the end, sometimes snappo, they also cut the rope. This doesn't work. Out of the will. But in Sakya-rasa, nobody, in any rasa, nobody ever said, okay, that's it. And they drop it with Krishna. Even if they're abuses, even if somehow Krishna has abused them in some way, over-tormented them, frustrated them, hidden himself from them, not revealed himself to them, insulted them. Sometimes Krishna speaks insulting words to his devotees, sometimes. He's the autocrat. He's enjoying all rasa. He's enjoying the tears of his devotees. But if somebody tells us, I'm simply enjoying seeing you suffer, I'm simply enjoying seeing you crying, you'll just, well, then you'll storm out. You'll just stop those tears for his pleasure, her pleasure. But they'll never turn away. So it's a different thing. It's not just because, and our mind says, gee, man, they have such ability just to suffer. Actually, they're not suffering. There is no suffering there. It is all love. It is the mellows of love with no lust, no greed, no envy, no self-centeredness, no egoism. Remove all these things from that thing you find in love, be it family, friend, lover, anything. Remove all the mundane things. And love here is as a small kernel, right inside, a little kernel of the real thing. But it's just heavily crusted with this other stuff. Remove all that other stuff and get to the pure thing, and then that expands. Pure love. So, he wasn't in favor of that. He wasn't in favor of that. And again, we go around and we don't find these things are a big part of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's movement. You see, his dramas. He had dioramas, and they were particular type, but they were not Leela dioramas. But he had one diorama. It showed a Brahmin, and the Brahmin had a shaligram, and he had like a walnut or a pistachio nut or something, and he had a shaligram, and he was cracking the nuts with the shaligram to get the nuts. And he was sitting by his altar, and the diorama, the curtain was closed, and he was sitting behind it, cracking the nuts. So people come and make some offering, and he shuts the curtain, takes the shaligram, cracks the nuts, and eats the nuts. Why he's showing the altar is just to get people to throw money in offerings. And then closing the curtain, he's enjoying. So it's using the shaligram to crack the nuts. So, what did they have? He had Smarta Brahman Tilak. Smarta Tilak. Smarta Tilak is just one little line. I think it was Smarta Tilak. So the Smarta community, because they all worship Shaligram, they were outraged. They went to the court, high court in Calcutta. They just made a 6-man party and marched in there and pushed their way in. Usually it takes months to get into court. They just push, get all the way in, and within a day, they filed a case against the Gaudiya Math for slander and insult. So then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta sent some of his devotees to the court to answer the charges. And they proved that it is true. What happens? So many people, they also worship, the deity, and the offerings are simply consumed by them. Everybody knows it, Why we're just simply showing it, So in the court, their argument was solid, right? But then the counter argument came, yeah, but we think some, Vaishnavas, you do that also, And they had to admit, yes, some so-called Vaishnavas, they may also do that, you see. So they said, okay, so in one of those dioramas, they should be wearing this tilak. So then the court gave an order, that they had to put Vaishnava tilak on that man one day a week, and like that. They had to create some balance there. So those kind of like heavy preaching dioramas. You've seen the one, the cow's getting his head cut off, but he's got a man's head. The man's doing the cutting, he's got the cow's head. I wanted to do one for India and show a Brahmin family, you know, like 2 or 3 boys with Brahmin threads, the Brahmin wives, their little girls, a whole Brahmin family, you know, and they'd have the kolam in front of their door. That's how you can tell who's a Brahmin. You go through a village, that design in front of the door in the morning, that means a Brahmin. Non-Brahmins don't do that. Whoever does that is a Brahmin. So you'd have that means Brahmin. And then just to the side of the picture, you'd have their chicken coop where they're running a little egg and chicken business. You see, because so many Brahmins, so-called Brahmins, eat eggs. Right? So the idea would be you put chicken heads on the people. You see, they're all standing there, that's a little Brahmin family, but they got chicken heads. Right? And the chickens got their heads stuck out of the cages. There's mom, dad, and the kids. You know, little people heads on the chickens. You know, that same thing with the chickens. I'm not ready for a revolution here. That would just be like. And another one I thought, oh, you have a poster, and it shows a dog passing stool. And you put a circle around it, and a line through it like the no smoking, and then you say, do not eat. Right? Then the next picture is a chicken passing an egg. You draw a circle around the egg, put a line through it, and say, do not eat. It's like, it's obvious. These things both come from the anus. It's like, why are you eating this filthy thing? Like Prabhupada said, they said, is it sinful to eat an egg? He said, no. It's abominable. It's not a sin. It's abominable. But that's, you know, like once you start doing like that, you better be ready to back it up with a lot of things, because that's heavy preaching out there in the material world. You create enemies out of that. Oh, you show rasa lila, they will come. Everyone's smart as everyone will come. Why? To enjoy that. They'll come to enjoy that and go away with zero. Their only benefit maybe, they're a nice ashram, they're nice devotees. So by that thinking, the eligible thing about Krishna is all attractive. Even the Śrī Vaishnavas, they also say like that. No need to tell about the inner pastimes of Narayana. Inner pastimes of Narayana. No need to tell about those. Those are just filled with awe and reverence. No need to tell about those. Simply show the gate of Vaikuṇṭha. Just the door handle of Vaikuṇṭha is infinitely greater in this material world. If you can just show them the door. In Christianity also, if you see what goes on in heaven, there isn't much of a clue. What do they always show? The pearly gates. They just show the gate of heaven, and that's like, wow, that looks like a great place. It looks like a big Roman gate, actually. But the idea is there. What is there, we'll have to wait until one qualifies to go there. But by showing the gate, you see, we can communicate to people, it is something worth striving for. See its wonder. The pearly gates, they're called the pearly gates of heaven. Angels all around, the beauty of that place. Never seen anything like this. Better than anything we ever came up with. Best of the best. That's all that's required. Don't cast pearl before swine, is what they say.
In temple.
Wait, let me finish. So generally, the safer side of Leela is Caitanya-Leela. That is a safe. Krishna-Leela was misread from the day it appeared. Pundraka was the first. He imitated Krishna, put on 4 arms, declared himself the real Vasudeva, and so on and so forth. This also happened in Caitanya-Leela, but moreover, Mahaprabhu is not showing. If we see there is divinity in Caitanya-Leela, wonder. But what he shows is how to be the proper devotee of Krishna. So if one even imitates him, one is somehow or another being put on the right path. But Sahaji is, if evil intent is there, you can spoil even the purest thing. So even the Sahajis, they have managed to twist certain things in Caitanya-Leela, particularly Gaur-Nagari Bhav, it is called. Gaur-Nagaris. That they try to portray Mahaprabhu as an enjoyer of rasa, not the enjoyer of rasa in his Gaur avatar, Gaur-Lila avatar. But it is safer to show Caitanya-Leela. And if showing Krishna-Leela, then it should be the instructing things like Sudama, things that show the lower side of pure devotion, which are necessary. You know, Sudama Brahman, it shows Krishna reciprocating, accepting an offering, and even flat rice offered by his devotee and relishing it with great fortune. With great appreciation, he's relishing the offering. That is being reciprocated. Even Lakṣmī is, I don't know what I did. The requirement of reciprocation even goes beyond my wealth. So that tells us something. Prahlāda, that tells us something. The standards of devotion. But dramas which just show about the enjoyment, but then people are not qualified to understand what it is, and they enjoy it. You see. So Krishna is not for our enjoyment. There are plenty of things for our enjoyment in this world. And I don't necessarily agree about this dovetail. This thing about music came up. Many people try to make music, which is just pure enjoyment, and add a little Krishna consciousness to it. I'm rather like, my mood is like, okay, why don't you just listen to some enjoyment music and get it out of your skin. Don't mix it all up, you know. Don't get the pearls mixed in with the plastic jewelry, you know, or you end up throwing it out someday. Just keep what do they say, give what belongs to Paul, and Jim to Jim. You know, be truthful about the matter. Don't try to just dovetail everything. Then it's polluted. So, but there's more than one opinion on the matter. So Śrīla Mahārāja's opinion was, they're all free to do as they like. But true to what I believe to be the teaching of my Guru Maharaj, we do not show such things in our ashram, Leelas. They don't put statues of the Lord and his devotees outside and all these things. They don't do those things. There are pictures hanging up all over every wall in the mud. When you go in the rooms where you stay there, if you visit there at any time, there's not divinity hanging on the walls. Only a few pictures are there in the kirtan hall, and that's it. They don't hang pictures, decorated with pictures. Of course, they have the Ganga and the temple and all these things. And over here, we kind of want to put up some pictures of Krishna, so wherever we can cast our glance, we'll see something. You see. But once you leave this room and you start out and out, you see a lot of times the pictures that just get neglected. So how much are they windows to the spiritual world when they're being neglected? So we don't want to decorate. He's not an ornament for our household decoration or anything. Like that one time we went to some people, they'd been devotees for a while, they didn't know very much. They had a picture of Adi-līlā hanging over the toilet. You know? And they just didn't understand. You know? In one sense, they have a devotion, but they don't understand. They have a picture of God and his divine pastimes hanging over the toilet bowl. This is obviously not right. Once in Vrindavan, somebody went, and in the sink in the restaurant where you wash your mouth, they had a picture of Krishna. So somebody called over the manager and said, we ought to hang your picture here. And he was spitting at you and spitting at you. So it's divine. But actually, I'm telling you, the movement, and many devotees miss this. In Vancouver, there's that statue. I talk about it a lot. I've been talking about it for 15 years or more. It's a statue outside. You get weather like this in Vancouver all winter long. Can you imagine standing outside with just a thin chador around your neck like this all night? Last night, rainy, wet, cold, windy. It's horrible. You could die like that. Exposure, you know. How can we put the form of our Lord outside just like this so people driving by on the freeway will be benefited when they see it? They're not benefited. People have tried to burn that statue down 2 or 3 times. They think it's a woman. And then it gets all wet, and they think it's pornographic. The Christians think it's some kind of perverted cult expression. People aren't getting any benefit. They tried to burn it down. You're creating apparatus. It's been there for 15 years. It's been there. Bhagavad put it there. Mm-hmm. It's 35 feet tall, made of concrete and rebar. It's just unbelievable. It's just there. Another group, they made a big statue of Prabhupada this year, put a rope on his neck and winched him up in the air on a crane and just swung him over, put him into place. He's like, oh, gee, ouch, You have more love for your bronze baby shoes than some people have for the form of their Lord. Now, if you've ever been in a press and printed a book that has a picture of Krishna in it, it can be a little bit frustrating. The press is just printing 500 sheets of 30 seconds or intervals, and they're just pulling them off and throwing them to the side. And whoa, don't do that. When we did the cover for Follow the Angels, they were pulling them off, and I was there stacking them up. Hey, get off of that, you idiot! And I'd give that guy a slap. Did I show somebody the other day how you throw away a sacred picture? You fold it into itself and vanish the picture. That's how you dispose of it. You don't take the picture, you just wrinkle it up so that part of it's a twisted picture. Things that are sacred, you close within until they out of sight. Then you dispose of them. But you do it like that. But at the press, it's like, wow, what's going on? Pictures just flying everywhere. So we were cutting them and saving them as many as we could, but admittedly, that must have been 1,000. It was just like, oh, well, let's get the books and go. And what they do, they just scrape it all up. They're insensitive. And actually, the Lord is not there, and his devotee is not there. They scrape it all up and feed it into a paper shredder and reprocess it. You see, but if you were there to see that, and you had any love for the people, you see, or the Lord involved there, you wouldn't be satisfied to watch that. One day I was in Govinda Maharaj's ashram in Mayapur a long time ago, in Navadvip, and they were doing his application form for America. And it kept falling off. Right? They put some glue on it and they'd stick it there. And then, a couple of times they'd pick it up and just fall off. So then he put the glue on it and he put it on there again. And I said, you have to press it. And I went like this and I pressed it. And that devotee grabbed my hand. Right? And he said, such a thing may cause our guru problem. Guru and his picture are non-different. I just said, it's like a massage. I do it with affection. And I pressed the picture and it stuck. But that was their sensitivity. That was the picture of their guru. And I just put my big old thumb on his chest and gave a big push. Right? But that's it. Like a massage. With affection, we add pressure. And I pushed it on. But that was their sensitivity. You don't find that very, very many places. People are indifferent to pictures of Krishna. People they're running around with a big axe ready to chop your head, yelling, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. They got the Prabhupada t-shirt. But when it's over, it's in the wash with the dirty socks and the dirty underwear. What happened to their Prabhupada then? What happened to their fervor of devotion? Prabhupada! Where is it now? It's in the wash with all the dirty laundry. We'll just take you and put you in there. When we finish, we'll hang you out on the clothesline with no sunscreen. Just baking you. So, if there's real love, then these things which are meant to awaken the love, we have to deal with them at every step like that. But we're not for these pictures. Again, it was the Australians who started the Prabhupada t-shirts. And these things didn't exist until the last year of Prabhupada's time. They came. And they came and just took off. This is a good way. Like, there was a time nobody drank a soda in the West, in the temple. Nobody drank a soda. And then the news came from India that Prabhupada drank a 7-Up. No, it was in America he drank a 7-Up. It was just, that was the end. After every Sunday feast, a few cases of sodas would just come in. They call it the green nectar. But something is done and then it just becomes the standard. We have to be careful for that. You see? And the main thing is enjoyment. Somebody's, good soda, good taste. They're just enjoying the soda. Somebody else is enjoying the soda. They're not enjoying it, they're just drinking the soda. They want something that's not going to give them dysentery. They want something that's just going to quench their thirst. Then they drink the soda. And another person drinks the same soda, stands right next to that person, and just enjoys the soda. So it's the enjoyment that's wrong, not the soda. Some person will take the soda. He's not trying to enjoy it. And someone else is just trying to enjoy. So it is the enjoyment which is the factor that we have to guard against. So, okay, enjoy a soda. Don't enjoy Krishna Lila. Don't make that the object of your enjoyment. That won't be any good for you. That doesn't mean that any contact with Krishna means suffering, misery. That's not what it means either. You see. The nature of our eternal self is blissful, so we want blissfulness. But we cannot achieve that blissfulness through selfishness. We can only achieve it through selflessness. So yeah, in reality, there is a period of our life where we have to practice renunciation and give up false ego, selfishness, and do things that are exercises to do that. You see, to do that. We have to practice that early stage of sadhana. Then when we actually get a taste for service, free from selfishness, that's Raganuga, actually. That is Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is not just all about hearing about Krishna's love bite pastimes. That is not Raganuga. Raganuga is also washing the same pot that was there the day you came to the temple for the first time, spontaneously. Not just because you were told to do it. That is also Raganuga. Spontaneous devotion of all types, whatever we are called upon to do. Not that once attaining Raganuga, we can only be called upon for this higher thing. No, we will be called upon for the lowest of things, and we will do it most happily, enthusiastically, and we will do that with love also. Any other question? Talk?
You must have seen the current Śrīla Prabhupada stay here. What type of dramas did he encourage in temples? What did he appreciate and encourage?
I don't know. Actually, I was in Africa most of the time. That was another type of drama. I did attend one drama. I can't remember. I was watching Prabhupada the whole time. He was laughing. It was a famous thing that went on in New York. There's a picture of him sitting in a rocking chair laughing with the devotees around him. He was watching a drama that night, Sunday night, up in the Prasadam room. But it wasn't rasa-līlā drama.
Definitely not.
No. Things like I said again, like Sudama, Brahman, things like that.
Prahlad, demon killing.
Yeah, things like that. And they have a sense of humor to them. You know, the humor, some humor is there. It's not that somebody goes, somebody you can just see a neophyte at that time going, Prabhupada, why are we laughing? Everybody's enjoying it, you know. He would just look around like, get a life. Watching a drama. Don't you think it's funny? Laugh. Don't be a nerd. That one boy, where was it? He wouldn't go to the ocean in Vishakhapatnam. And I think he lives in New Vrindavan. His name is something Kishore, Nanda Kishore or something like that. And all the devotees had gone to the beach. He was from Southern California. And Śrīla Prabhupada said, why are you sick? Why you didn't go to the beach? And Prabhupada said, he told Śrīla Prabhupada, no, if I go to the beach, I just get in the enjoying spirit. And Prabhupada told him, the ocean is Krishna, the sun is Krishna, the sky is Krishna, the air is Krishna. Now go to the beach. And when he came into Hawaii once, everybody was unhealthy. He told the devotees, you have to eat what's local to the environment where you live. Otherwise you can't be healthy. You have to eat something, the foods from wherever you are. Because you're in an environment, you're not eating the things that come out of that environment. It's artificial, so you won't be healthy. And then he said, so are the devotees going to the ocean for swim? Oh no, Prabhupada, we wouldn't do that. And he said, well, that's why you're not healthy. You should swim in the ocean every day. And they were going, every day? And he said, yes, if you live by the ocean, you should swim in the ocean every day. So they thought, oh boy, if we tell the devotees that they can swim every day, it's over. Because that aspect is there also. Prabhupada said there'll be nobody at the temple. He didn't say how long. They'll be there all day long. So they balanced it out for twice a week. They would go swimming. So there's the practical application of the higher ideal also. But a lot of that is, it's nothing wrong with the ocean. What's wrong with our mentality? We want to enjoy. So we should curb that enjoying spirit. And whenever I'm in the ocean, I remember Krishna says, of aquatics, I am. Because you go, yeah, Prabhupada said Krishna's the sun, Krishna's the ocean, Krishna's the air. It's like, let's go for it. And I go, yeah. Krishna said, I'm the aquatics. I'm the shark too, so watch out. That Krishna might be there too. So you got to be a little careful. So it is possible to do everything to serve Krishna. But first we should start with those things which are they're directly the service of Krishna. There is no question about it. That means in the sense that it comes to us from our Guru and from the Shastra, and do that. That is service of Krishna. And first we go through that stage and curb that enjoying spirit. Then we might do something that looks like another person's doing the same thing. It's enjoyment. But enjoying spirit, we're not taking that in enjoying spirit. Enjoyment is the cause of suffering. Then?
Just trying to think of it. There's that verse, I think, Bhagavatam, that says enjoyment and suffering come of their own accord. There's no need of endeavor.
Like to help people from this, the Bhagavatam says it's the duty of the brahmacharis and sannyasis to go to the householders and take away their hard-earned money. There's a verse in Bhagavatam that says it's our duty to go there and take away their money. Because if we don't, they may spend it for enjoyment. And that will create bondage for them. So it's our duty. I'm telling this to these young boys here. It's our duty to go and reap the harvest. So I didn't write the book. I didn't create the rules. I think being a householder in Prabhupada's time, whenever you run into some householders, devotees, shouting the Prabhupada song in your ear so loud it pops your eardrum, you just ask them, are you giving 50% to the temple? Because that was Srila Prabhupada's standard. I mean, there almost were no householders living outside the temple in the time of Srila Prabhupada. There wasn't one disciple who had hair longer than Gaura Gopal. One disciple of Prabhupada. There were two, actually. Three. And one of them had to shave his head right away. There was Bhagavan, actually, and Jayatirtha. They had a short, what we call a short crop of hair. There wasn't another disciple of Prabhupada of the thousands of men in the whole world who had hair any long and his head hair any longer than Gaura Gopal. Nobody lived outside and nobody had a job at that time. Everybody lived in the temple or right around the temple and just worked at the temple. So in the last 25 years, things changed. But things change. But when people get in your ear about Prabhupada, say, oh, that's very nice. Do you give 50%? Do you have a shaved head? Because when you start singing that song, well, here's the chorus that goes along with it. And then they have to come. Well, there's things are a little different. Things are a little different. Things do change. I see. But you've only changed this much. Some others have had to change and adjust so many things. Yeah. Tell me.
Not for
I thought that was nice what Śrīla Mahārāja wrote. He said, well, why do we have to give so much? Why isn't God satisfied if we just give a little? I mean, why does he want so much? And Śrīla Mahārāja told us that you are only 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair. That's how big you are. And Krishna is infinite. He's infinite. And you think that you can satisfy the infinite with just a piece of this 1/10,000th size tip of the hair. Such a small thing you are, and you think only by giving a little bit of what I am, I'll satisfy the infinite. So it's not a very good proposal. It's like when you have so little, your best bet is just give it all. This is all I got. Fold your hands and pray for the mercy. But it's logical. I thought it was a very nice observance. We have so little to offer. Why should we think that anything less than all of it is satisfactory? See, Krishna doesn't want our money. Krishna doesn't want any of those things. But the fact is, and I have this one god brother. He used to tell, he would speak the philosophy of love so perfectly. And the main thing in devotion is give your heart. You see? And then I used to tell them, yes, but for you, Devendra, your heart's in your wallet. And you have to give from there first to release your heart. You see? Because that was true. It's like, for some people, their heart is in their finances. So there is no giving your heart and loving Krishna unless the finances are there. There's so much attached to their money. But it is not the money that anyone is after. That Krishna is after. Actually, it's not the money we're after. We're not after devotees' money. We're after their participation, their engagement, their devotion, their love, their affection. We're not after their money. Money just is a thing that's we have to deal with in this world. It's not an object of devotion. It's not a necessity of devotion. But it definitely is a necessity of material life. It definitely is a necessity of certain aspects of missionary life. And it's definitely a great attachment. Like one of our godbrothers was told, just worship Krishna in your heart and save your money. So he came to us and he said, at last, an instruction that I can follow. I don't have to give my money. He was Jewish. I don't have to give my money. So that's convenient for some, but if you can't build a temple on the earth because you're so greedy with money, if that's the reason, if that's the reason, and what chances do you have to build one in your heart? How you enshrine the Supreme Lord in your heart? You're not even willing to sacrifice to enshrine Him in this world, where you have command over so much energy. You see, you have the choice every day, so much energy, so much capacity is there. So that's why there are temples in this world. We're given that chance to build a temple. It's like so many temples in India. People are always asking, well, why another temple? I just say, why another wine shop? You know, if somebody opens another, why another cloth shop? Nobody complains about that. Why another petrol? Why another gas station? So why another temple? A place of worship. The devotion of building the temple itself. You see. Making a monument, a place of worship. All these things are highly spoken of in the scripture. They give us great merit, spiritual merit, doing these things. Just maintaining our daily life, that doesn't give us much merit. There's not much merit. What gives it? Oh, in the end we go, all right, fed his kids good, okay. Gave to the fire department, looks good, looks good, looks good. All right, but that's all very, very meager. Right? That's like getting 3 shiny pennies when you could have got a silver dollar. And the merit, oh, well, he couldn't do this, he couldn't support well, he didn't have this, he didn't have that, he wasn't very educated. And all these things didn't really contribute much to society and everything. Oh, what do you have here? Oh, he helped build a place where the Supreme Lord would be worshipped. We were discussing building last night, right? I said we were building Govindaji Gardens. Remember, we were drilling the tiles. We were talking about Shankarshan. He was there. The boys were drilling those tiles. You know how many tens of thousands of people have come to that temple since we drilled those tiles on the roof? And most of you who helped do it came back to America. Tens of thousands of people have come there and taken Chanarita, Chitati, sweet rice Mahaprasad, which is famous in our area. Nobody has that Mahaprasad like we do. Priests, Brahmins, sannyasis, acharyas, politicians, common people, field workers, business workers, factory owners, men, women, and tens of thousands. So that also goes to us, but I say, look, don't be like Muhammad. You know, Muhammad? No, not Muhammad. What's the guy's name? Moses. Don't be a Moses. Moses led the people to the promised land and didn't go in himself. So we do get the merit for doing something, right? Like that building a temple. But then don't be a Moses. Is it Moses? Or who is the guy? Mm-hmm. Don't be a Moses. You know? Take advantage of it also. Be one of the people who come there. Worship there. And help take care of the deity, all these things. And a lot of the Hindus, they know the merit of doing this, so they'll donate. Like it said, when it comes out, if we get the hill in Bangalore, we're going to build a $2 million for the temple. The money will come from the people. At a point, you get it going, and then people go, well, there's the merit, go for it. And they know it. They believe it. They believe that level more than you do. They really believe in that. Right? But then they can come and write a check for $1 lakh or 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 50 lakhs or whatever. And just go right back home and just be the enjoyer that they are. And, just know, man, I got that merit. That's going to do good to me in the next life. That's all they care about. But we're not like that. We do it just for the merit. But there is merit. And there is merit, and it does good to others, and like that. And so forth. All right. Hare Krishna.